Yeah, guess what, kids? I guess Christmas came a little bit early because we have two uploads in less than the span of 48 hours. I guess this is my way of giving everyone a little bit of a treat due to my extended absence because I really just couldn't be bothered to deal with any more stupid bullshit for a while. On account of just wanting to genuinely start enjoying more stuff outside of the internet. So with that out of the way, let's begin this little comment reading slash response, shall we? Okay, to offer some context, he more or less said that I was an incel in my response video and commentary on Neon Penguin's community tab posts, despite the fact that I've been in a relationship for nearly a decade now. And when I point out the fact that I've been in a relationship for 9 years, this is his rebuttal. Check your privilege then and stand by your fellow man. It's hard to stand by anyone who refuses to stand on their own two fucking feet, provided they can even see their feet. There is huge sexual inequality today where the majority of men no longer have the means of attracting women whose standards are increasing beyond what is remotely realistic. Okay, let me just give a moment and then I'll actually make a real rebuttal to that instead of just repeating what he said just a moment ago. Okay, quick question. What are these fucking standards that men can't really meet? Is it the whole take a shower standard, the have a job standard, the be a decent human being standard, the try to actually be funny or witty or charismatic standards? I mean, here's the thing. You don't have to be looking like Johnny Depp or Brendan Fraser or Keanu Reeves to have a relationship or even to get laid. You just have to be someone that has an interesting personality that is engaging and interesting to other people. You cannot be the smelly, fat fucking neckbeard that sits behind his computer all day long, screeching on the internet about not getting laid, and then sitting there in your fucking Hong Kong Phooey pajamas at 35, screeching at people because they refuse to take your dumbass opinion seriously when your opinion is based entirely upon pissing and moaning about shit other people have spoon-fed you on Reddit. Let's be honest, there are a lot of men who do suffer from social anxiety, and those men have my sympathy because I imagine they want to go out and meet people, but they're scared of being rejected, they're scared of talking to people, because they don't want to come off like the dipshit that made that comment just now, as people that are completely socially inept and don't understand shit about the world. But realistically, women's standards have not really changed all that much. The basic standard for most women is that a motherfucker just has a job, takes a shower, and has some kind of responsibility in their life. As opposed to the people you're probably talking about, where you're talking about women that expect everyone to be over 6 feet tall and make over $100K a year. That's not a realistic standard, and that's not a standard most women adhere to. That's the ideal man, but a lot of those standards a women will fluctuate on and will actually allow to be altered when they find a man that really sticks out to them. They find a man that they actually find interesting or charming. They find someone that they actually want to stick around with and spend time with. I mean, I look like what happens when a Volkswagen Beetle gets into a horrific accident involving a Humvee in my facial region, and for some reason I still manage to have a relationship. Maybe it's because I was able to be charming, witty, and funny to this person, the fact that I take my personal hygiene enough to keep myself cleaned up, and the fact that I actually care and love this person enough to value them as a human being. Maybe, just maybe, that's what made my relationship work and what allows it to still work today, is the fact that I actually treat this person like a fucking human being. Like most women, albeit attracted to money and status, don't necessarily view those as the highest priority things. A lot of it just is they want to be treated like fucking people. Same thing that we do. Except when you approach everything with the attitude of, it's all society's fault, it's all women's fault, you don't come off as charming or informed or brilliant. You come off like a fucking whiny douche who wants to blame everyone for their problems. And when you begin something with check your privilege, it makes me want to kick you in the fucking dick. Because this is one of the most whiny fucking talking points I've ever heard anyone make. When they open with check your privilege, it immediately makes me want to kick them in the fucking face. Because it sounds like the typical suburban middle-class white person screaming at someone that's slightly below them in social class, trying to lecture them about what they do and don't know about the world. Meanwhile, this is the same socially inept dipshit who's screeching at everyone because no one takes his dumbass opinion seriously because he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's talking out of his ass more than Ace Ventura. Anyway, let's read the rest of this bullshit. I feel like I should make some kind of dipshit voice to go with this, but I don't think I have the vocal range to make that work. So I'm just going to talk however I think would best suit the voice of the person who wrote this. Incels have no choice, so they only thing they have. Excellent grammar, you illiterate sped. is their voice in which you're helping to silence. Just say which you're helping to silence. You don't use the word in which in this situation. Helping to silence because they dare to call out female hypergamy. Well, here's the thing, people are allowed to have preferences. If you don't like people having sexual preferences and having preferences in their partner, then why the fuck are you in any position to judge anyone, you whiny bitch? This is how violence happens, so do your part and listen to them. What am I gonna listen to? Them whining like a bunch of faggots and constantly complaining about their problems, but not doing shit to really resolve them? I mean, seriously, how am I supposed to take shit like this seriously? This comment better be fucking ironic, or so help me. No, violence happens because they have whiny, insecure assholes who don't know how to actually talk to a therapist or seek professional help because they'd rather take all their problems out on the people who they feel wrong them. These people didn't act out in violence. Like people like Jake Davidson, Alec Manasseh, and Elliot Rodger didn't go and kill people because they weren't being listened to. They went out and killed people because instead of trying to talk to a therapist or their friends about their problems, they instead decided they wanted to inflict violence upon people because they wanted to essentially get payback on society and the world for what they felt they were fucking owed. Let me just say this. Relationships are not owed to you. Relationships are built on mutual love and respect for the person in the relationship with you. And the fact that you said check your privilege earlier is kind of insulting to me and the person that I'm in a relationship with. Because you're acting like me and this person having a relationship was decided for us by someone else, and that she was like gift wrapped and given to me by someone with authority and power. It wasn't. The relationship wasn't gifted to me by a third party. The relationship was established because I managed to fucking swallow my fucking knot in my throat and actually just straight up man up and ask this person out on a date. It's because I grew a pair of nuts and actually decided to gave it a try of trying to actually pursue a relationship. It wasn't some fucking bullshit that was gifted to me by some nonsensical third party. Violence happens because people decide that they don't want to actually be responsible for their choices, so they blame others and take it out on others. That's not the same fucking thing as someone just feeling like they're trapped in society and they're just afraid to talk to someone because they don't know who to talk to. That is not the same thing as having an idea who you can talk to, but then choosing not to because you'd rather blame others for your problems. Fuck off. Another thing, I'm not helping to silence these people because they're not talking about real issues. They're not talking about the male suicide rate or the male loneliness epidemic. They're not talking about male depression or the fact that they're not talking about anything that actually affects men, that men's rights activists would actually have a valid reason to talk about, which I would openly and willingly support. It's not. It's basically just some poor me bullshit that some whiny asshole cries out of their ass about because they'd rather do that than take any bit of responsibility for their personal choices. As an adult, you have a responsibility to question your activities and thoughts in life because it is up to you to decide where you're going to go in life. You have every ability to make your decisions, it's just that he chooses to make the wrong ones every fucking time. I mean, he did the same shit back when he was using his Cranium99 account. He would start a load of bullshit, then he would constantly cry and whine and bitch about the consequences that his bullshit would start. This has been the same cycle he's been doing for like 2.5 to 3 years, wash, rinse, repeat as needed. And for some reason, he has not fucking learned his lesson. Because he will literally cry, bitch, and scream about dumb shit, but he will not consider that maybe, just maybe, the answer to all of his fucking problems lies in a therapist or lies in actually talking to someone about the problems instead of hoping it miraculously goes away by committing some horrible act of violence like his idols did.